And we have a fun card that we're going to make today. It is again, a pop-up card, and we're going to do some cutting and making it so that it pops up and open. But here you can really see some of the glitter that we've used that are in those pens to make our project that much more fun. So what's going to happen here is there's a few steps that we will take. There's a pattern here. This is a friend, Nano. She taught us about how to do this card. So what you'll need is a scoring tool, which here, this inside of this has a scoring tool, and then the pattern, which we will make available. So we're going to take that, and I'm going to line this up so that it's about centered on my page, and that this dotted line will be on the score. And I'm going to take, and I'm just going to push down on each of those dots here. And this will tell us where we will do our cutting. So you can maybe see those dots in there. So that's our guide. Then we're going to take our scissors, and these Kuretake scissors are nice and sharp. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut from the edge, the folded edge, into the card. And because of this tip on these, you can cut right to the edge. So if you line the tip of your scissors up with that dot, and then just cut in, and you'll do that all the way down. Just increasing. So that's how you're going to start to get your cuts in it. And then we'll open it up, and then you have all of your lines that are cut there. So this one, I've cut most of them, but I've left a couple here that need to be cut. So again, I'm going to start from the folded edge, and I'm going to cut in. And then on this one, decided that maybe we would have the tree holders pop out also. So we're going to cut that way. Then we opened it up, and green was the first color. So I have started the tree formation here. So again, you want to shake it up. We'll bring over our practice pad, because again, you do not want to start on on your project. You want to make sure that it's getting flowing nicely, which that one is doing great. You can stack the caps, because they will stack on top of that. A lot of times that's you can just stack them up that way. So because again it's a brush, so I can either come out, and it's just free form. This is, you know, trees are no two are alike, right? And so, and if it feels like it's a little bit dry, then again we would grab our marker practice page and just make sure that the ink is flowing. That becomes a work of art all in of itself. We just get to, and I think the slower you go, the more control you have. So if you're wanting to do it a little bit more free form, you would do it faster. If you want to do it controlled, then you can do it out to the sides and pull. Okay, so you would want to continue on and add all of the branches and such like that you would like. And you want to make sure that you don't get your hand in it, and because it will dry, but it takes a few seconds for it to dry. Then the fun thing about them, because of the tip on here, and we'll get our practice page, make sure we've got it going the way we would like it, but you can create all these fun patterns. So here we're just going to make a little bit of a plaid, and so I'm pulling up and just barely touching the edge, the very fine tip of the brush. And it's a nylon brush that is perfect that way. So, and then we can just create a fun pattern on top of it that way. We'll let that dry, and we use, there's a silver. Silver is a fun color. Again, shake it up, and just make sure that if you need to push it a little bit, just to add a little bit more ink down into it. There we go. And we can come on top of other colors. So this is the silver on top of the red, and it just adds just that beautiful glitter edge to it. We'll do some detail work with our black. Then the violet, which again we'll shake up, and we'll start it. Make sure that it's started there. There we go. And if you want to, you can take and go in from the sides and kind of, I wanted a little bit more of a watercolor distressed look to it. So you can come along and just have it be that way. So I'm going to come back with our black and shake it up. You'll hear that little shaker ball. If you don't hear the shaker ball, then you want to keep shaking it because it's obviously caught in some of the ink and glitter. So you want to make sure that you can hear that little shaker ball in there. And again, you would push if it needs to be a little bit wetter and things like that. So we're going to do some detail work over here. So we're just going to make our bow with different pressure, and then we're going to outline. And because it is such a fine marker tip or brush tip, it is just such a fun way to be able to get a variety of tip sizes and such like that. And then we'll just outline. I find that outlining is just, it just adds that detail that is so fun. So again, you can do it really lightly, so almost like you're getting a distressed line on there, and maybe not making contact with everything and having it be a little bit different tip sizes on it. So we'll find our silver again. All right, I'm sure you're in here. Oh, there we go. Here's our clear. We'll use clear. That'll be great to be able to add some glitter over where we didn't have it, and see how you can color on top of each it, and it will just make it all nice and glittery. Then we'll take our silver, we'll shake it up, and we're going to come and just add some silver out to the outside. It's almost like just that little bit of a sparkle. And then let's make sure that our silver is going well. We're going to make our bow out of that. Just add some dimension to it, and then you can come through and get that going that way. So then, as we let that dry, we can come around the outside edge, get that, and again add some of the detail work that we're wanting to add to it. So it's a lot of fun that way. Then we will, while we have the black, we'll just go ahead and do some of the detail work that you can add onto it. Just adding some fun things like that. Then we'll take, and we haven't used the gold yet, so we're going to make sure it's nice and shook up and that it's writing well, which it is. Then we can add our star onto our top of our tree, and it glitters and shines so appropriately. Then you can even just do out little detail lines out the outside so that it will be nice that way. So for our lettering, we're going to use the brush marker again, pull it, making sure that our the purple is nice and juicy. So we're going to come and we're going to hold our marker a little bit horizontal so that as we pull down, it'll be a thicker line. We may want to do this a little bit slow, and then as we come up, it's going to be a nice fine line on it. So coming around, up, and just inside of it. So fine line down, pushing, and then again, I find that it's so nice to be able to do some detail work. And so we're going to come along the outside edge of the piece. If you wanted to add little doodle marks, you can. It's almost like putting on eyeliner. It's just a really fun, light stroke that you can use. And these are your shadow lines. Again, always keeping your shadow lines on the same side of each of your pieces of work. So each letter, and so we're doing our shadow line out to the left of this, and it just makes the word pop that much more. So then we could add our detail line or shadow line on our ampersand, which is one of the fun ones you can do. And then take our red and can make sure that it's flowing. This ends up, like I said, ends up being a work of art all by itself. And you can see here that I've left that almost like an outside brush. So what you want to do when you want to twirl it is you just take it and you spin it in your fingers so that it makes this beautiful pointed tip of that nylon tip that way. So, and you can see all of the glitter in these practice ones. So for love, we're going to again hold it horizontal. Coming down, we're going to get a thick stroke. And coming over, we'll get a thin, and coming up and over. And because you can paint and fix or add detail lines to anything that you might like. We've got that a little bit heavier, and doing those so that it does it that way. Then you can go back and add any of your detail work onto your projects here. Here we're going to just add some berries or bulbs. Remember that the ones that are closest to you are larger, and the ones inside, or those will be a little bit tinier for your perspective that way. So then once you've got that done, what happens is you're going to push out. Oh, let's see, I think that one of the things we need to do also, which we'll do right here, is you want to create your score lines down so that it's going to fold. So these are going to be folding lines. So I'm coming between the dots on 1, 3, 5, and then 7. And that's going to allow it to, when you pop it out, it will fold that way. So that's the purpose of those fold lines that you can see there. That's going to happen. I think this one is now dry enough, and you can see that I already added those score lines on there. So I'm going to pop out 1, and then 3, pushing them in and out. A little bit of paper manipulation. There we go. And then when you fold the card in half, it will fold those in. There we go. So the first time folding it is always the trickiest. So those are all popping in. Then we're going to fold the card even more. Just do that gently so that it makes these great fold lines. And it's folding along where we've scored it. So then, I've got that little one down at the base to pop out. So that, but then when you mount it on your card, when it opens up, it will be a pop-out card. As we pull out the 1, 3, 5, and 7, then you can see that they will fold in that way. So I've glued down this one side. When you go to glue down the other side, what you would do is, I'm just going to put some double-sided tape here, and then we'll remove that. And then you will fold your card over so that every time you open it, it will be a great pop-out card. Then the fun thing about one of the other colors that we haven't used yet is the white. And this is a really fun, it's a little bit of a surprise pen in that when you initially use it, you don't think that it's going to show up anywhere. So as we begin to play with this, it will intensify as we go along. So now that I've started that, I always have to make sure that my envelope is opening the right way, because there's been times when we write on the wrong side. So you can see that I'm just pushing down, getting the marker horizontal, so that when you come back this way, it will get a fine line. But again, as you're going to make curves, just pull up almost as the pressure will come down. If you get a lot of ink, then you can just spread it out, and you can do a flick or a circle. And if you feel like it is flowing well, that's wonderful. If you needed to pull it back, again, just make sure that you don't get your hand in it as you've come through it. But you can see here, there we've got quite a bit of glitter there. We can spread that around of that. But you can see how it intensifies as it dries. So we have this one that has been dried for a while, and then this one that is. So it's almost like a surprise that will be fun. So the Wink of Stella brush marker is an incredible marker for adding a bit of glitter and color to any of your fun projects and make them sparkle and shine. That's part of the ZIG memory system by Kuretake.